hosts, the Bay Area Brawler, Skylar Greenberg, and your Colonial champion, Sean McCoy. Welcome to the Court-Martail Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Court-Martail Podcast. I am your Colonial champion, Sean McCarty, here to do two things today. We're talking about one of the most wild incidents in wrestling history, at least of note, since the David Schultz incident, as well as review Clash in Paris, the final Peacockian PLE. Did it live up to expectations? Did they deliver a swan song worthy of remembrance? We're going to get through all of it as much as we can, and with me by my side, as always, the man with the hour, the man with the power, the man who is too sweet to be sour. He is the Bay Area Brawler himself, Skylar Greenberg. How are you doing, buddy?
Well, I just watched my baseball team, the San Francisco Giants, go 69-69, so we are perfectly balanced.
And having ourselves a good time, it seems. You all know what we're talking about.
No, we're not.
Yeah, you know, editor, you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
This baseball team used to be good, and now they're bad.
That is definitely true. That is also true of my hockey team.
Farhan Zahadi needs to be strung up by his ankles and whipped within an inch of his life. But that's a whole other conversation.
That escalated very quickly. But, you know, we are going to amp the... But speaking of escalating things quickly, we're going to start... I don't mean to laugh, ladies and gentlemen, because this is really... It's disgusting shit. But I'm going to leave the description of said incident to my good friend and co-host Skylar, because it is his segment after all. Roll that intro.
Coming straight to you from the Golden Gate Garage, this is the Wrestle News with Skylar Greenberg.
News of the week, and boy, do we have news of the week.
It sure is news, all right.
Okay, long story. Do you want me to do quick or do you want me to do dirty?
Make it long, slow, and wet.
Okay, long story short, there was a promotion that was run by Rikishi in
California.
They were doing a show a couple weeks ago, and what happened was that they had a special guest there. So Rikishi runs his own wrestling school and company, and he has a show that he's doing, and this happened, a week or so ago? And we were just waiting to see all the details that happened afterwards.
Which we still don't have a ton of information on. But
basically, long story short, there was a video earlier in the day of Raja Jackson, the son of UFC legend Quentin Jackson.
Rampage Jackson. That's gonna come in. That's gonna be important.
And he shows up to the show. He's doing some stuff with some friends. And one of the wrestlers, Stuart Smith, this dumb idiot, thinks, oh, this guy's here. Let's do a work. Because he got told that Jackson was here to do business. Goes up to him, talks trash to him, I think touches him or shoves him or something.
He hit him in the back of the head with a beer can, an empty beer can, and it crushed itself, you know. It wasn't anything that did any real damage. It was all just goof. I mean, he was drinking, you know, because this is an indie show, you know. I hate to say outlaw mud show, but in this case it really was, you know, not the mud.
Not pro wrestling, by the way, for those who don't know.
Yeah, no, that's nothing that we would associate with unless we had to talk about it like we are.
The thing is that they're a WWE ID program. Well, they were.
They were, yep.
And then what happened was that, like, the person who was in charge, I don't know who it is, but some Samoan person, There's too many of them in wrestling to count nowadays.
True.
Comes up and says, "No, it's not at work. Please stop." And Stewart's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize." And Roger's like, "Okay, cool. No problem." Proceeds to, during the show, get involved in a last-minute spot where he's supposed to come in and attack Stewart. And
Well, hold on. Let's pump the brakes here. Let's go back and add some key details. This was all being filmed by Raja Jackson's little side piece entourage, his weekend butt buddy, I'm sure. As this was all part of some level of publicity because it's Rampage Jackson's son. So this guy Stu, he does this thing. He apologizes like 10 times. Saying, I didn't know, it's my, I'm bad. He immediately apologized, the nicest thing. And, Roger Jackson acted like everything was cool, but his body language was not cool. That was the last thing. So then somebody convinces these guys, hey, let's make something out of this, which is a bad idea in general, but let's make something out of this, to something that only a handful of people have seen, by the way, at this point. Because this was just live streaming on Raja Jackson's Instagram or whatever it was. And so then they get to this match that Stu is in. And Stu is also a veteran who started doing wrestling to deal with his PTSD. And he's been doing it for like 10 years. He's like an indie darling there. People love him. And Raja Jackson still says into this, his live stream, I'm going to keep hitting him until they stop me. And then that's exactly what he does. He gets into the ring there, and I guess there's some dumbass in a cowboy hat or some producer who I don't remember the name of, who kept egging Raja on like he should do something and leading to this angle. And that's the person who also we'll get to what we think about this whole incident in a second. Raja Jackson jumps the barricade, tackles Stu, and just starts laying in haymakers, 20 of them, until somebody finally pulls it. The first one knocked him unconscious, and then there was a subsequent 20 full blast, full force into this guy's head until somebody finally pulled him off. And Stu ended up going to the hospital. I think he just got discharged today at the time of recording. It's been like 10 days at least that he's been he was in the hospital. And all of this was on live stream. This was all on camera. And he was live stream laughing about it afterwards. And there's been no arrests or anything of that kind. And this incident has blown up as far as what is happening in pro wrestling. What is all of this about? Skylar, if there's any details that I've left out of this, please tell me. But what is your thoughts about this incident and what should be done?
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Go on.
Everybody here in this video and in this situation looks like an idiot. Even though he got himself in the situation, Stewart was an idiot. Just check with the guy first before you do anything to him or do anything with him. You are, again, this video, he's a fat white guy who tried to throw a beer can at a dude who is an MMA fighter. Whether he's a good MMA fighter is a whole other thing.
Of an MMA fighter. The son of an MMA fighter. And
Raja is actually trying to be an MMA fighter too. This is pathetic. All of this is just pathetic.
Well, I want to know who the guy is that egged Raja Jackson on, because that's the guy who needs to go to prison. Because that's the guy who orchestrated this. And the thing is, there have been no arrests in this, and namely because it's pro wrestling. So nobody knows, is it a work? Is it for real? So there hasn't, if this happened in any place, anywhere else, this would be a felony charge assault. But because it's wrestling, nothing's happened. And to make it worse, the promotion has been telling all of its talent not to cooperate with the LAPD in this whole situation and investigation that landed this man in the hospital for 10 days. And I don't disagree with you, Sky, that this could have been handled better, but this was also a veteran who may have just misread the situation. I'm not saying it was smart, because this was in an indie promotion and where smart things don't tend to happen. But at the same time, that is no excuse to nearly kill somebody because, I don't even know the reason. I don't understand it. He's just like, I'm just going to go and murder this human being. So it's on the shoulders of the promotion who handled that the absolute wrong way. It's on Raja Jackson for committing the deed. It's on Stu for putting, the rage into the beast, so to speak. But to say that man brought it on himself is absolutely ridiculous. Nobody deserves that. And I don't think anyone else would ever do that. Even if that were Rampage Jackson, I don't think Rampage Jackson would do that. Where he would just start hitting somebody uncontrollably after he already knocked him out. That's some unhinged level behavior, man. That's some shit that nobody deserves to go through. I don't know why there haven't been arrests. And it's just a messed up situation all the way across the board. And I hope we get more details of this going forward, because this should remain. I mean, it's so serious that the medical bills were being paid by people like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast saw this. Just for what reach this whole video had on the world. This made global news.
And not in the good way,
No,
and not for anybody
way.
associated with it.
And it's another garbage, bad black mark on pro wrestling.
But what makes it worse is that this was a WWE ID school. This was a company associated with WWE.
Well, which they cut ties with almost instantly because they knew they had to. But it is ultimately ironic that it's under Rikishi's supervision, especially considering how vocal Rikishi is about all the bullshit that WWE is not just full of Samoans and no other wrestlers. And I honestly, I don't have sympathy. I feel bad for Stu, because Stu didn't deserve that. Yeah, was he stupid for provoking him? Sure. But that's no excuse, man. That's no excuse. And then we get some real garbage takes from people online, like people who saying they brought it on himself, but most notably Mark Henry, who tried to make it a racial thing why people were mad at Raja Jackson. Skylar, if this were a flipped situation where a white son of an MMA fighter beat up a defenseless black veteran, would the news cycle just pass it by? Or would that make national news?
I don't know, and that's the worst part.
I truly think that there's no way that would just slip under the radar. You never know in this world nowadays, but I think that would be as much of an uproar, if not 6 times as much as it. There's a time and a place to play it, in my opinion. This is not that. It does not matter what color of a person punched an unconscious man 21 times after he was unconscious. Nobody should do that to anybody. And it's just disgusting behavior, and another black mark on pro wrestling that just dissuades anybody from ever giving it a chance at the quality art form that it is.
Well, let's be clear about something, okay? This is not a decision that was made by someone who is in the business. This is somebody who was outside, came in, and caused the problem. Raja Jackson and all that stuff, garbage, disgusting, all that. It is a black mark, but again, all sports have black marks. It is what it is.
Well, it's on the promoters, honestly. I think it's on that promotion for even encouraging that kind of thing. And this, I'll tell you something, this too, and I'm going to die on this hill probably because there's no changing it, right? There's no putting the genie back in the bottle. I understand this, but we have to slow down or stop the celebrity involvement with wrestling a little bit. There are people you can have involved, and there are people you cannot, and it is getting harder and harder to distinguish who and between. A la Travis Scott. And while I respect Jelly Roll's determination for getting it. Him working like the Great Khali does not make the wrestling look good. And with this Raja Jackson thing, it's just, it needs to stop. It needs to stop because it's going to get worse before it gets better. And what's going to stop somebody from getting getting even more seriously hurt than that in a wrestling ring because of even just, this was a simple misunderstanding and it led to this. What
Having
happens
said
next
all
time?
that, given that WWE is the worldwide leader in sports entertainment and they are in bed with ESPN and about to have WrestlePalooza.
I know.
Which again, let's go to Clash in Paris.
Yeah,
and to
we're
be
not
honest
there yet.
with you, ladies and gentlemen, this may be the fastest review we ever do.
Yeah, I won't lie to you here. For this show, I wasn't really feeling watching it, and it's a part of that is that I've been very low on WWE lately. Now, to be fair, this was a fun show. I did enjoy myself. I thought most of the matches were good. Well, the ones that I watched. But having said that, the booking has gotten incredibly lazy. I'm just finding myself not as sucked into the bubble. This price gouging is just really wearing me thin to the point where I don't even know if it's really worth it for me to not even just fork over $30. I don't even know if it's worth the effort to get it by other means. Have I mentioned I'm a fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And I'm also going to be in Pirates of Penzance, in two completely unrelated topics to the means of which I would be getting my WWE programming once the ESPN PLEs start. But ultimately, I've been terrified that Skyler will be correct on what he said on the last podcast. And that before this year is out, we're going to see another wrinkly, inept 82-year-old who doesn't know how to run things. One in the football world, this one's going to come back in the wrestling world, and that's going to be the end of me ever caring about WWE. I'm terrified it's going to happen. I'm terrified that this has been spoken into existence and the seeds have been planted. I'm hoping that's not the case, but right now, I am in a moment of limbo with the WWE, so I wasn't necessarily chomping at the bit to watch this. So regrettably, this is probably the least analytical you're going to hear of me because I was playing both Skyrim and Fall Guys in the middle of watching this show. I paid some attention, not full attention, and I'm not sorry about it either, Sky. I won't lie to you.
So, Sean, do you want to know what I just did in the middle of your rant?
What's that?
I canceled my subscription to Peacock.
Congratulations, sir. I still have to watch Twisted Metal Season 2. And then I will maybe I'll end it, maybe I won't. Because right now the tape library's still there. Once it leaves, then I'm done.
Well, that's the thing. I'm saving the money by kicking this subscription service off my thing because if it's going to be on ESPN, then it's going to be on ESPN. That's all there is to it.
Or YouTube.
This is the thing. I've never felt this apathetic towards a pay-per-view in a long time. And it's not like the thing when we were really burnt out and we gave zeros to a WrestleMania night.
Yeah, no, that was different.
And that's the thing, is that it's not that I am in anger, it is not that I am in love, is that I am in not caring. And that's the most dangerous part.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't love the WWE, it's not that I hate the WWE, it's that I don't care.
Yeah. It's
and that's
true.
More dangerous than anything else.
Yeah, and and the sad thing is that like I want to be more invested, but I kind of can't get invested terribly for probably another 2 or 3 months if I'm going to get maybe with what finishes with Cena's tour, but I'm really thinking that that's going to end up being underwhelming. I don't think that's
That's the thing, is that John Cena's retirement tour is kind of basically the only thing keeping me in because he's my favorite wrestler, and after he's gone, I may just be gone too.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that LA Knight can surprise me, but man, I don't have the faith that I once had. I don't have the faith in the process anymore. Not that they're delivering bad shows. They're not. They're developing shows that are just fine, downright fun. But I'm not invested in anything they're doing.
It's not just the investment of caring, but it's also just the investment of the show itself. The thing is that all the sports right now are price gouging each other, and yes, all the sports are guilty of this. Every single sports league is guilty of this. You have to pick the ones that you really want to pay for.
Right.
And that's always been the case when it comes to being a fan of multiple sports or multiple leagues. But now more than ever, it's shrinking.
Yeah.
It's shrinking more and more by the day. And I'm going to have to make a choice at some point of which streamers I want to keep in order to watch which things. That's how bad it is. Because you have to be on Peacock. You have to be on Netflix. You have to be on the next streamer. Amazon's probably going to get on this at some point.
Think about how many the NFL has. You got Paramount Plus. You've got Amazon. You've got the Peacock. You've got Netflix. You've got
Hulu,
all of the network.
You got all of them.
Well, and Hulu, I heard Hulu's going away too, and they're just going to fold that into Disney Plus now. And they're just, that's all going into, so they're giving you a lot of choices without giving you a lot of choices.
Yeah.
And
so that's why, I said this is going to be the shortest review ever, and it may actually be.
Well,
because you may spend more time reading Joshua's notes than actually doing this review.
Well, it's a great time you mentioned Joshua Geddon's notes, because who should happen to be here as well with the intro that I 100% regret making the soundtrack for, but too late now, it's happened. Roll it.
Joshua Geddon, 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 bad things will happen to you. Joshua Geddon, 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 Joshua Geddon. Huh?
Apologies for not being on this podcast in person, but I am currently motherfucking exhausted and in bed sleeping because fuck I am tired. He told me he was tired, Sky. Can you tell that he's tired? Fair warning, these notes may be more unhinged than normal due to my heavily deteriorated state of mind, and even more heavily deteriorated, virtually non-existent ability to sleep without everyone in my goddamn contact list calling me. We should call him. With that out of the way, I enjoyed Clash in Paris more than SummerSlam, and it was to me one of the better pay-per-views of the year. Also, farewell to Peacock, my favorite streaming service, said no one ever, rest in piss, you absolute embarrassment of a network. This show in that regard was the end of an era, and what an end of an era it was. Now to the matches. So what was your overall thoughts, Skylar, of Clash in Paris?
Fuck you, France. You made Jey Uso a world champion.
Yeah, and that kind of ruined a lot of other people's momentum that should have been in that position.
Having said that, the crowd was fine. They had fun. Yeah. Look, Clash in Paris was a good show, but I'm not going to pretend that everything on here was good because there were things that were annoying me more than usual.
Well, I will admit, this is a kind of an interesting situation because the crowd was having fun sometimes. It was not the blanket fun that they were having in years past. This crowd was a little more judicious. And on that basis, I found it quite fascinating what they chose to like and what they chose not to like, and how the crowd responded to that. And I must say, my other big thing about these shows, and I'm sure this will be the case when I don't watch the shows live on ESPN either, I don't think WWE shows are worth watching live anymore. I think that it's much better and easier if you can skip the things you want to skip and get right to the meat of the matter. For instance, it took 13 minutes before we got the first bell for Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, and 17 before we got Contact. From the start of the show, we were nearly 20 minutes in before we had anybody touching each other on this show. And that's the whole podcast.
Why?
Yeah, and trust me, there was plenty of milk to be had. Fuck Kurt Angle. The milk ratio is at the highest it has ever been. This show was 3.5 hours long, and I think at least 2.25 of it was fucking ads and shit. And milking,
also, I'm
and
just gonna say
pandering,
this right
and
now
walking,
for this first match.
and entrances.
Roman Reigns. Roman
Yes.
Reigns.
What about Roman Reigns? Oh, just milking?
Yes.
He's the king of milk. He is the emperor of milk. He is the deity of dairy, as it were, as the tribal chief of. Yeah, I don't got one for that one. I'm not gonna try. But in any case, this matchup. What did you think about the matchup itself, Sky?
Look, they wrestled a good match. That's fine. I understand people's complaint about the stagnant main event scene because the big guys don't lose.
Well, it's true, but I thought this was good. It was a good match. They had a good back and forth. I think Bronson Reed is improving a lot.
But he doesn't win.
But he doesn't win. He doesn't win, but he is getting much better. I think that his time with Heyman is actually benefiting him because there's a lot more that he's doing in between the moves he's doing that I did not see from him a whole lot before. Like when Roman Reigns went to pick him up as, he was too big, but he got him up like halfway and then the splash came down because he just couldn't keep him lifted up. And the look on Bronson Reed's face as Roman was picking him up, it was good facials. He's got it. He's getting it more than he was before. I think that it's getting better with him. And it showed here. This matchup was quite good. I enjoyed it. I think the shoe thing has kind of run its course. It's kind of stupid. It was funny at first, but I don't know. The shoe LaFala thing, I'm going to gloss over a lot here, Sky. Stop me anytime. Bronson Reed goes to take the shoes off of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns gave him a stiff kick to the head there, but there was still great heat by Reed. There was a nice suicide dive. It's been long, but good. When they did the top rope Samoan drop, the ring nearly caved for real. And that was pretty interesting. Then there was a spear, and Roman Reigns won. Is there anything else in that match you would like to discuss?
Nope.
I thought it was great. I mean, Roman Reigns winning makes sense. However, Triple H is known to do the same angle 3 times, at least. And this is, yet again, Roman Reigns being incapacitated beyond reprieve so that he can go film a movie. Namely, the Street Fighter movie. But Skylar, this post-match angle took 17 minutes. This was, at the end of this whole segment, was 53 minutes into the show, which means 17 minutes to start the match, 19 minutes for the match, 17 minutes for the afters. Good God! That is insane! That is milk, that milk is curdling at this point. You've left it out for too long. You can't even make butter! Your thoughts, Skylar?
This is a 17-minute angle that could have been done in 5 minutes. Roman Reigns goes out there, he gives the shoes away to people. Braun Breaker, spear, throws him back into the ring. Jey Uso tries to help. Jey Uso fights off Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Jey Uso checks on Roman Reigns. Spear to Jey Uso. Then tsunami from the top. 1 tsunami, 2 tsunamis, 3, get him on the stretcher. That's it. That's all they had to do. But they had to go back and forth, back into the ring and back into the stretcher.
With the most ineffectual agents of all time.
Jey Uso coming out 10 minutes after your blood has been assaulted.
God, this took so long. Way too long. Way too long. To the point where I was skipping minutes at a time in between action, just knowing more was coming, but just going, all right, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, now more attacks. Keep going, keep going. To the point where I didn't spend all 17 minutes watching this. I maybe watched it in about 5. Because what the fuck, man?
And that's how long it should have been.
It's like, and if you're trying to convince people to spend $30 a month to watch it live, that ain't selling me, brother. That ain't selling me.
Did it sell Joshua?
Well, let's find out. Match 1, Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. The opening contest saw Roman jerking Bronson's curtain. Are curtains legally allowed to match the drapes in Australia? The world may never know. But Josh Geddon, he's Samoan. Isn't he? Wasn't he supposed to be? No, but wasn't he supposed to be? When he was like briefly with Solo Sikoa's Samoans?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Anyway. Firstly, the crowd was fantastic all night. Debatable. Second, this was a very good opening contest and the best match Bronson has had on the main roster. Agreed. Roman made this dude look like $1 million, and the crowd elevated this from a good match to a very good match in my opinion. My favorite spot was Roman attempting a spear only for Bronson to grab Roman and stop him dead in his tracks before delivering a brutal powerbomb. It was a simple yet awesome spear counter. As for the post-match angle, I liked some things about it, but WWE has 100% graduated from the Department of Redundancy department. Thank you for stealing that line that I gave you. Can you find a way to have Roman leave TV for a while that doesn't involve him being fucking murdered? He's been murdered more times than Krillin at this point. No, that's impossible, dude. Despite those gripes, I enjoyed the match and segment. So latido. We move on to a match I did not watch. It's the Street Profits wearing their best basketball Daft Punk outfits with B-Fab versus the Wyatts, and all I had to say to this was a Bugs Bunny meme that the editor will put in right now. No. Your thoughts, Skylar?
It says something when you don't want to watch a regular tag team match on a pay-per-view.
That's the state of the tag division, my friend. That is the state of the tag division.
Yeah, but the problem is they picked the 2 tag teams that none of us want to watch.
Yep.
I watched this match in the background. The Wyatts need to go away because it's them damn spooky Wyatts.
It's gotta stop. The Wyatt thing, I'm sorry, it's gotta stop. WWE's fan base has moved on from that whole idea. I think you gotta just put it in the past, let the past be the past, and make with what you've got. And that ain't it. Knock off. It was B-show horror with Bray. This is like C-show horror. This is like off Broadway.
We're getting high school reenactment level horror with this.
Yeah, I'm not saying that any of the people involved are bad wrestlers. I wouldn't know. I don't watch them. But please, make this stop. Who won?
It was the Wyatts, and also they're doing a thing where like the Street Profits will they or won't they fight each other.
Oh, great. And now they're going to break up. After they were some of the most impressive I mean, they've gotten better too, but all right, whatever.
But that's like saying you're the nicest guy in prison. You got better, but like, how better did you get?
Well, nabbing podcast terms aside, I've been known to do it myself because after all, I am but a simple bird lawyer. Do you have anything else to say about this match before we hear Josh Geddon's take? / opinion, because he's gonna hate that I called it a take. I could hear you seething, Josh Geddon. I can hear you seething in the background. Don't you look at me? Don't you look at me like that? I could see right through that screen. Anyway, this is what he had to say. This match was fine. Literally, the only thing I really cared about in this match was the B-Fab's cleavage. She's fine, I won't lie. Interesting. Shitty wrestler, but a smoke show with a lucrative OF account in her future once Triple H figures out she sucks. As for the other people, they were fine. But holy shit, can the Street Profits get their old music back? Oh, please, no. The current trash sounds like Def Rebel just recorded themselves taking a shit and added trap music. I'd recount spots in this match that stood out, but there were none. So yeah, this happened and was fine. Also, BFAB's OnlyFans account should be called BFAP. That's very clever.
No.
Here's a cookie. Well, I will read to you Josh Again's notes for match 3, which is Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella. Suck my fucking cock, WWE. That's it. So I watched this thing, and Skylar, did you?
I refuse to watch anything with Nikki Bella in it.
Well, then I will make this brief, cause this just ain't nobody gotta bother with this. Here's the thing. Nikki was nothing special at the time that they pushed her that she was special. Then the women's division got better around her. Then she broke her neck. Then everybody stopped caring. Then she left. Now she's back. And the people still don't care. And it takes a lot to get a crowd as hot as France to not react to somebody. This crowd did not react to this match like at all. They viewed this as a heel program. They did not want to cheer for Nikki Bella at all. And I think that if all of the people in Paris could have skipped this match, they would have. There was a nice second rope leg drop early that got a quote-unquote hot start. Becky slapped Bella in the face. Nikki Bella got Becky on the outside to slam her head against the announce tables. And Becky, every time, she lifted her hands in a really obvious way just to make sure that her hands were the only things that slapped the table. It was like her head made no contact any of the times. It looked like more like she was praying to Allah. It was actually quite humorous, you know, but this match itself was nothing special. The fans were met on this, like even Becky was getting chants for her. That's how much people didn't care. And they booked Nikki like a fucking superstar in this. You know, Nikki got an electric chair. She did a Tory facebuster on the steel steps. I don't even think they were out for a long time. I don't think the referee was even counting. Nikki Bella did a disarm her and it got booed. I mean, flat out booed by this crowd. And then Becky got real desperate and beat Nikki with, checks notes, a backslide. That was it. It was a Becky Lynch match with Nikki Bella in it. And I watched it, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was just there. And nobody gives a fuck about Nikki Bella.
We're just wasting our time with WWE because there are so many other things you could have done with those, 13 minutes that they wrestled?
I made it to the final round of Fall Guys twice, I think, in that time. Or at least made it to the finals. See, I was enjoying myself in other ways while this show was going on. But that's part of the problem. This show is not a sit and pay full attention and analyze it show anymore. It's a have it on in the background while you're doing something else kind of show.
I mean, to be honest, that's kind of what Rusev and Sheamus was to me. This was the match where I watched it, but while I had other stuff happening. So I have very little to say about it. Also because it's just another hardcore match.
Well, we're going right along. We're moving.
And after my complaints about SummerSlam Night 2 having too many hardcore matches, oh no, another hardcore match.
Well, these two gents beat the fuck out of each other. I will say that. They did a hell of a job.
They also did it very slowly.
Yeah, but I mean, the milk was running high tonight. There was a hell of a lot of milk here in Paris, France. The cows be a mooing. That's for sure. And
also, again, it's the stereotypical Irish barrels around in the bar and the other stuff. I'm just like,
I thought we were past that, WWE. Don't re-gimmick up yourself. But see, Sky, that's also concerning me. Because it's looking more and more like his predecessor. And I hope that's not trying to steer us into what is to come. Damn you, Skylar, for speaking that into existence. Because now I'm constantly looking over my shoulder with this promotion. And because you have to. And anyway, hashtag no mo kendo. They hit him with the kendo stick. There's a golf clap. The thuds on the beats of the Bowdrin that Rusev did was thick. You could hear the plunk, plunk, plunk on chest, but that was basically the whole time. There was a heel kick by Rusev in spinning heel kick into a chair that was nice. Sheamus started hulking up and did a brogue kick. Sheamus started counting in French with his beats of the Bowdrin and stopped at 5 because I don't think he knew more than that. There was a lot of counting on this show. Roman Reigns did the 10 punches. We had a multiple beats of the Bowdrin count. John Cena did 10 punches. A lot of counting for the people in Paris.
Everybody loves doing math.
That's right. Everybody loves it. Well, at least wrestling can also be educational. Except Sheamus, who didn't know how to count beyond 5 in French. We got a Celtic cross. We had the shot through the desk, and then the Shillelagh Club beats of the Bowdrin. Sheamus jumped off the top rope and got a kendo stick on the outside. That looked like it hurt.
No more kendo.
Hashtag no more kendo. There was a nice Uragi through the bar that Rusev did to Dane, but they immediately got up and just kept doing more shit. There was an accolade on the whiskey barrels. There was a white noise that snapped the Slim Jims. Oh, yeah. This has been fun but brutal is what I wrote down. Another brogue kick for a 2. Then there was a broken shillelagh on the chest or back of Sheamus for a 2. Then there was a wild accolade, and then that torqued the back that kind of made Sheamus actually hurt way less. That didn't seem like it hurt. But Sheamus tapped anyway, which the commentators tried to sell as to only the second time that he's ever tapped out ever, and it was to Rusev, and hooray! Rusev wins a match on a PLE, and I actually, because I don't watch the TV, didn't even know what he was doing, so I'm glad that he's doing his thing.
But it was a mid-card match on a pay-per-view.
On a mid-card pay-per-view. It was a mid-card match on a mid-card pay-per-view. That's what it's there for. Which I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would enjoy it. I'm sick of kendo sticks, but I enjoyed it. That being said...
Would Joshua enjoy it?
Let's find out. Rusev versus Sheamus in an Irish-themed street fight. This match fucking slapped. I don't care how much Sean and Skylar are allergic to kendo sticks. True. I loved this match, even though the name of the stipulation is fucking goofy, and I hate it. These two beat the absolute shit out of each other, and it was so damn stiff. Which it was. I enjoyed it for that reason. In my opinion, Sheamus is the most underrated guy in WWE. He just does not have bad matches lately, and everything he is involved with feels like a war zone. And he was the perfect first real challenge for Rusev, who also looked great here. Also, Rusev putting the accolade on Sheamus on top of the barrels should 100% be the new Cracker Barrel logo. But more than anything else, Rusev won, and he should have. I would have been pissed, but unsurprised if Sheamus won, but Rusev needed this win and got it by submission no less. Second best thing on the show, in his opinion. Now, what many might consider the peak of the evening, Logan Paul versus John Cena. I must admit, I didn't watch as much of this as I thought I was going to because the Fall Guys got a bit intense. But from what I saw of this matchup, and I listened to all of it, I heard all the commentary and looked down, as it, so I was still, it was within eye shot. This was very good. John Cena's matches have been slowly but steadily getting better all year. And this was quite good for the two of these guys. Your thoughts?
Look, Logan Paul, talent is great. John Cena, you already know my thoughts about him. But this was just another classic hit, John Cena. Let's do all the finishers and let's do all the false finishes I'm getting tired of John Cena epic matches.
Well,
Am I Josh again from 2015?
no. Skylar, you will never be Josh again from 2015. I don't care how hard you try. It's no. I understand though, because it's been kind of the calling card of John Cena all year. But at least they added some different stuff into the matchup. We got a collar and elbow tie-up. I was happy about that.
Most of the matches had collar and elbow tie-ups.
That made me happy because they knew I was pissed about SummerSlam. I got mad about that at their SummerSlam review, and thankfully they decided to change it. Logan's body shots always look great. The commentary discussing the dynamic of babyface versus heel was kind of dumb. I mean, it was fine, but like, guys, you don't need to say all that. You don't need to say all that. We're like, oh, well, he's getting cheered and it's in pandering, but it's a good thing. But he's pandering and it's a bad thing. I don't need to hear that from commentary. There was a stalled vertical suplex from Logan Paul. Michael Cole referenced Cesaro. Does he know something we don't? But in any case, reunite the bar is what I say.
More importantly, does anybody care?
If it means reuniting the bar, I'd be down for the bar coming back and dominating the tag division, if I may say so myself. Logan Paul getting great heat like he always does. We get the 5 moves of doom. Paul from Grace, Cena AA, the octopus, tap out. The STFU, I'm glad they're going back to calling that. I'm glossing here. There's a zigzag. Logan Paul tried to do a pop-up uppercut, but he missed it. He didn't miss it, but he hit Cena in the ribs instead of the chin. Then Logan does the 5 moves of doom. Logan Paul was pandering to death. The milk was at its frothiest in this match.
Well, the thing is that was the story of the match, is that Logan Paul would win the match if he would stop pandering.
Which he probably would have. But that was his thing. I mean, and 5 moves of doom by Logan, but he got hard weighed. I didn't see how he got hard weighed. Did you?
Nope.
But he started bleeding. But anyway, he pandered to the 5-knuckle shuffle. Then Cena countered. Then hit a code red. Then we got a right hand from Logan Paul, the big right hand that he's got. Then we got 2 more Paul from Grace's. John Cena came back, got a Styles clash, which of course, the only reason they did that was so the fans would chant the thing that they did the year before. Well,
also because it looks like there's not going to be a John Cena and AJ Styles match because there's only 8 appearances left on John Cena's retirement tour, and we have a whole Brock Lesnar we need to go through.
I know, which is a damn shame because Cena and AJ, I think, would still tear the house down. Because AJ is just untouchable in that regard. It's real hard for AJ to have a bad match. But we get a Styles clash with the phenomenal chant, which I know is why they did it. This was a long match, but a great match. Cena finally got him with a big AA, and that finally did it. But it was a nice back. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it. The two had good chemistry. I'm not surprised that they both. I am surprised this didn't main event, but I'm happy with what we got out of this. Is it match of the year? I don't think so. I still think that's Punk and Gunther, but this was still very good.
I said that after the match happened, and then I look back and I'm like, no, what? This is just a bunch of spots. It's not match of the year. It's a good, fun match, but it's not match of the year.
No, but that's not to take away from what they did. I did enjoy this, and it was worth watching for what I watched of it.
Joshua B. Frankenstein and just say he hated this match.
No, I think he very much enjoyed this. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm glad he remembered this. John Cena versus Logan Paul. Holy shit, this was a great match. Absolutely the show stealer, despite my usual John Cena match complaint of this being his typical big move 2 count, big move 2 count, big move 2 count, and do this 800 more times match that made him from 2015 to 2017 incredibly tiresome. But they really did the old-timer versus newer cocky rookie angle well here, and the commentary sold that part of it very well too. But man, I popped when Cena whipped out the end of days. I didn't see that. I missed that. I'm sad. My guys must have been falling. It must have been a very dire situation. Maybe you should have called Maybe you should have called the bishop.
Boo.
Slap your knee, damn it. Then the Angels Wings and the Styles Clash and the Zigzag. Man, they really went into the 2K moveset and just hit random. And I popped every time. Cena winning was unsurprising, but Logan gained a lot in defeat as he and Cena put on a kick-ass match. And now let's move on to the main event.
Did you even watch the main event?
I did. I was still playing Fall Guys. I saw the show ran the full 3 hours and 30 minutes, save for all the entrances I skipped. But this Fatal 4-Way, Seth Rollins defending the World Heavyweight Championship against 3 people who had no shot in hell of walking out of Paris with this belt, which is why I wasn't as interested in it as... And actually, I don't think anybody was really interested in it. And they did say, you can't come back, because we forgot to mention a key part, Sky. Roman Reigns guillotined Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker did all that stuff, so Paul Pierce of the Boston Celtics banned... Paul Pierce of the Boston Celtics showed up in France and banned Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed from the building for the main event.
Wait, hold on. Is it 2010 Raw? Are we in Boston?
Yeah, no, they just won the NBA Finals. Oh God!
Yeah, they had the Raw celebrity guest general manager.
Man,
Paul
that was a funny faux pas. Holy shit. Okay, Adam Pearce is the one who said all that, and anyway, so Seth Rollins had to quote unquote go it alone against 3 baby faces who I once again reiterate had no shot of leaving with this belt. CM Punk versus LA Knight versus, as Josh Ageddon put it, Rikishi's cum shot, Jey Uso. And,
I mean, he's not wrong.
I mean, in the most literal sense, that is the truth. What'd you think about this match, Skylar?
WWE 4-way main event.
Yep. That's about all I had. This was half a page. Here's the thing. This crowd was gassed. This crowd was either gassed from Cena and Logan, or they all knew what we knew, Sky, that there was no chance in hell that Seth Rollins was not leaving without that belt.
Look, WWE needs to figure out a new way for heels to win that doesn't involve stables or people showing up in black hoodies.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, if you're going to wear a black hoodie for 5 seconds, just come out without one. Don't waste people's time with that thing. I mean, the people will rise up.
But you have to do the shocking reveal.
Yeah, but you'll get the pop anyway. You don't need it. But anyway. The crowd was...
Listen, I'm skipping this match. I don't care. You talk about it.
The crowd was not reacting to Seth at all. There was a trio gang up. I don't know why they did this. I don't get why they did this. The 3 baby faces stand there, and LA Knight says to Punk and Jay, we gotta get some tables. So Punk goes over to Jay and goes, Jay, get the tables. What the the Dudleys don't have anything to do with this match. We already got the tables in the Donnybrook a couple matches ago. I know, it's a fatal 4-way, which means there's no disqualification. But, why?
Look,
Why? I'm sorry, what did you say, Skylar?
TNA has to promote that match.
I know, they already did, though! They did at SummerSlam! I don't know. Anyway, this degenerated. There was some crowd fighting. There was a nice gourd buster to a Shining Wizard. Rollins got heat. I wrote down at this point, this has been a 4-way. There's a Tower of Doom. See, Seth Rollins hates CM Punk. Did you know that, Sky?
I did.
I guess also as well. Then Punk goes to put a chair in the neck of Punk. Punk dodges it. GTS goes for another GTS, and then Becky Lynch grabs CM Punk's testicles.
Very weak.
Sometimes it's about grabbing someone's testicles to send a message, and it was Becky Lynch because Becky was saving her man who hit the stomp 1, 2, 3 and pinned Punk, which surprised me because I genuinely thought LA Knight was going to eat this pin. So I'm happy that it wasn't LA Knight. I'm happy he didn't get any on him.
But now they have to tease the thing that it's not that I don't want it to happen, it's just until it happens, I don't believe it's happening.
And I'm assuming you mean AJ Lee.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Sky. I think it is entirely possible that she's getting ready to do this thing. I think it's possible. But I understand, don't tease me until it's actually here. But here's the thing, too. Are we gonna care enough at that time? Will it be too little too late because our investment in WWE will be so deteriorated because of how mundane things have gotten?
There is that possibility. I don't want it to be that way, but there is that possibility.
And I don't want it to be too little too late for AJ. I want her to come back, but I'm also concerned that in the same way that the wrestling women's division has passed Nikki Bella by, that it will also have passed AJ Lee by. I hope I'm wrong about that, but it has been quite some time since she's wrestled.
We won't know until it actually happens, though.
But, yeah, well, that's true. But now Becky has joined the Vision, which I still think Heyman's Hustlers was better, but, let's not get into that conversation at this point. So, in any case, we got a finish, and it was a match, and I think Cena and Logan should have gone on last. But because...
But then the world title wouldn't have been in the main event.
Well, that's the thing. Because Cody is going off to film Street Fighter, we're getting Seth main events probably for till the end of the year. So we're going to have to just all deal with that. And why they can't put another World Heavyweight Champion in a main event position, it's always got to be Seth, who holds that belt when they're doing main event shit. Why? I know why, because Seth Rollins is Triple H. But that's something else. But that...
Well, hold on. We compared Seth Rollins to Shawn Michaels. He's either one or the other. He can't be both.
Oh, can he now? He totally can. He totally can.
Does that make Becky Lynch Stephanie McMahon in this analogy?
Both Stephanie McMahon and the Nitro girl that Shawn married. She has to be some sort of amalgamation of the two as well. But Irish. So that's all I got for that. Did you have anything else to say about the 4-way? It was a 4-way. And the crowd was kind of gassed. And the crowd did not really care as much as I thought they would about Becky showing up either, which I think is an interesting little piece. I think the crowd is kind of burnt out already from Becky Lynch again.
Well, because he doesn't do anything different, and neither does Seth.
That's true.
Let's get to Joshua's notes. I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. Match 6, Seth Rollins versus Punk versus LA Knight versus Jey Uso. Despite Jey Uso's unfortunate involvement and even more unfortunate existence, this was a solid main event. Everyone, even Jey, because he had 3 people to cover for his absurd lack of skill, looked great, and I liked them paying off some of the storyline tension between different people in the match, like LA Knight getting payback by pushing Punk through a table, almost. I'm officially sick of the spear into the pedigree counter, though I've seen it. It's not cool anymore. WrestleMania 41 was the last time that will ever look cool. Stop doing it. But of course, the finish is what made headlines. Seth Rollins' baby mama, whose match I skipped, fuck you Nikki Bella, punched Punk in the CM penis and allowed Seth to pin Punk. Cue Sean celebrating because his boy was not pinned. Yes, I've already done it. If this sets up the mixed tag of Shut Up Skylar in all caps, Seth and Becky versus Shut Up Skylar, I shut the fuck up Skylar, I can hear you, Punk versus AJ Lee, then I 100% approve. Skylar, don't make me rip that vacuum cleaner you call a microphone away from you and beat you with it. If If we don't get AJ Lee, not only will I be pissed, but this will end up being a huge waste of time and a massive blue balling by Triple H. Don't be surprised if that's what happens, though.
And then I get to be right.
Then you get to be right. I'm terrified of you being right, Skylar. It's one of the things I fear the most in the world. Conclusion. This was a very good show, largely enhanced by those loud and rowdy French things in the crowd that they insist are called people. Everything that I saw ranged from fine to great, and the show flew by. Cena and Paul stole the show, and Rusev and Sheamus came close to that distinction as well. I give this particular clash an 8 out of 10. Now our eyes turn to WrestlePalooza later this month, which I will pirate the fuck out of because fuck you, I like having money. Also, fuck you, Peacock, you suck and I hate you. I miss the WWE Network. Imagine that we would be saying that. Thank you for putting up with my sleep-deprived thoughts, and now I will return to my slumber. Don't fucking wake me up, you fucking slut, or I will end you. Well, 8 out of 10. Despite all of that threat and violence, it was a positive review of an 8 out of 10. What do you give this show, Sky?
I'm not as positive. I'm not as happy. I had to skip stuff. I'm in a weird rut with WWE, and until they get out of it, they're not out of it. I'm also disappointed we didn't do this podcast in an hour, despite my challenge to 5 out of 10.
Well, actually, we are pretty close. I will say this is a 7. It was a good, solid show that I watched partially. So hopefully we will be able to do something in more detail, but if not, we'll do something else. Thank you all for coming. We are going to go to our commercial break right after this.